In this video, we'll be shaking some things up. I'll be starting off with the positions that I recently exited. Then I'll be talking about the positions I am currently in, share to you what my thought process was so that you too can learn and start growing your trading account. Then we'll close it off with the main watches for next week, January 19, Tuesday. Remember that Monday is a holiday, so markets are closed. What's happening, traders? If you're new here, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We'll start with GNLN. So I saw this daily chart. It was curling up. It was giving me a higher low. It gapped up, held its low. So I was thinking of entering a trade partially, scaling in. As you know, I like to scale in and put full size when the trade thesis is confirmed. My trade thesis is confirmed. So I was trying to scale in on this consolidation. I actually had a wider stop initially, but then after the price action confirmed its apparent strength by then, I was scaling in then. Maximum I believe was about 1/2 R, R being the maximum dollar amount that I'm willing to lose if I don't get the trade in my direction. And then I unfortunately exited yesterday when the markets were selling off. And these are my feels. I was scaling in and I got stopped out. Next we have here is RHE. I like this high volume day. It was trying to hold its lows, so I was thinking of scaling in, but then I had doubts when, as you can see here, the volume was disappearing as the days go by. I still took it, I believe, at this day, January 12, but then as you can see, it's selling off. Although it's still giving a higher low, I prefer those stocks which move with high volume and the price action is more natural. So I exited this trade right about here and I have an average of 4.52. Again, I was not in full size. I need to see the full price action going in my way for me to risk my full dollar amount. These were my feels on RHE. I even only had one starter position in, and I believe this was just about 1/3 or 1/4 of my maximum risk dollar amount. Then we have here QS. Some of you might remember this, as this went from 19s, 20s right to 138 pre-market. So this was selling off really hard, and if you haven't seen my video in mRNA, I was thinking of the same trade thesis on this, and unfortunately I got stopped out. Also might be because the markets were selling off, but I noticed after reviewing my trade that this might actually not a very good setup for me to trade for a bounce, because as you can see here, it sold off really hard on one day and right after it had the bounce. So this might actually be the bounce I was looking, and I entered around here. So I should have just let this go and not try to trade the bounce if it already did the bounce. My feels on QS, you can't see it here because Trader View only shows the feels during market hours. I entered the stock at, I believe, 57, around 57 pre-market time, so you can see it here. But I was just in here a third or a fourth of my maximum R because I wasn't yet seeing the price action confirming my trade thesis. Then we move on with the positions that I currently have. So first is ATOM. I saw this stock when it did the move January 5 here. So when it gapped up, I saw this sticker and was on my watch list. I then entered scaling in on January 6, and I saw the price action was very bullish. I entered, I scaled in. I have this on full size, and this stop loss was right below 20.5, because if it was gonna chop out, if it was gonna consolidate, I don't want to be stopped out while it was still doing those. But then I saw this very strong candle on January 7, so I added full size right around here. I still have my stop at 20.5 when I entered my last position, and then when it dipped and it was showing a strong bullish move, I then moved my stop right around here, not really on this wick, but knowing that this was a repeating level, so I moved it right below it, and then I sold some when it ramped up, thinking this might have a double top, and I still have 3/4 of my full position in this stock. As you can see, this was the market sell-off yesterday, and currently it's still holding this move. I'm still waiting for the price action before I plan on where I should exit most or all of my position. And these are my fields in Atom, ATOM. So again, scaling in, taking some off the table, thinking it might be a double top. I didn't get stopped out in this move because I was setting up my stop as you saw earlier, and just letting the trade do its thing. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. If not, then good for me. Next, we have SSPK. I got in on January 7, scaling in again, setting my stop right below this previous day low. I was position sizing based on that stop, but still scaling in until I get my confirmation. And right now I have an average of 16.87 on this, and I held through this move because I had the stop right below. And then if I confirm the direction of my trade thesis, I then move my stop above and add more. So every time I add, I look at what average I'm gonna be in after adding that position. If I move my stop, then I again calculate that and know that risk is number one. So I want to do what the right thing is. It doesn't really make sense if I still have my stop right below 14.8 and then this move happened. So I moved it above, right around this consolidation part. You can see it reclaimed and didn't even test it. So I had this as my confirmation, so I moved it right below there. So my fields on SSPK, as you can see here, I have 1, 2, and now I am full size again after confirming my trade thesis. I still haven't sold some yet. We still have the move. Cannabis sector is heating up right now, and this is a SPAC, special purpose acquisition company, with a merger of a cannabis company. Next on the list is SWBI. I had this on my previous watch list, and as you may see there, I noted that this might set up in the following days or weeks. On that video, I actually put my entry levels on 22 and 23, but I saw the price action held up and showing me what direction it wants to go. So I was scaling in this. I still haven't used my full position yet. I want to add my full position if it breaks 22, then holds. Then I'll be using that as my entry for my full position and raise this stop maybe 20.5, or depending on the price action in the coming days. My fields for SWBI, as you can see here, I entered on strength, scaled in on strength again. So you can see here, I only have 2 fills and I'm still waiting for that break and hold of 22 to confirm a move breaking this all-time high of 23.5. Next up, we have BNGO. This might actually be my next big trade after recently BTBT, Chris, and TIGR. So this is potentially setting up for those kinds of big wins. I found this on this day that it gapped up, January 11, right around here. So I was looking at this and thinking that this was a prior runner. This had history. Then it gapped up big on this day, but then it held. It was holding its gap. And then I saw the, as you know, this is a level 6 is a key level, as it was where the VWAP ended on the high volume day. So I marked that up. And then it was testing it, and as you can see, 6, the current 6 level is really a key level to break if we want to go higher. And then it broke that level. I was scaling in below here, but not really full size. As you know, I like scaling in until my trade thesis is confirmed. I then saw the strength breaking out on this day. I entered full size with the stop below here. At that time, I had the stop around 5. Then it went up. I sold some at 6.5, and then it was trying to punish chasers. So you should not chase. You should never chase. It was still holding its move. So at this point, I was very, very confident with my trade thesis, and then it went parabolic right at the open. I was trying to sell this at 9.40s, believe it or not, but I just missed, I believe, just 2 seconds of my order. I didn't get hit for a quarter size at 9.40s. So I was moving it 9.3. It still didn't get hit. I moved it 9.2. It still didn't get hit. At this point, I was sitting on my hands already. And then, if you know, this was the market sell-off, and right around the key level of the previous day and pre-market. So I added, instead of selling now that I was in the position of a possible re-entry, I added on this dip right around 8.2. Initially, I had my average at 6, but then after adding and removing a quarter of my position at 6.5, I then have now a 6.5 average. After that, this is a win-win situation for me. Whatever it does, I have my stop right above my average. At this point, I'm just risking my unrealized profits for more. I might actually take some at 10 or break of 10 for a quarter and just hold the core position or half of the position higher. This doesn't have, this line is an indication for me that it is an all-time high. So we don't really have any resistance above. What's gonna happen is I'm just gonna sell this depending on the price action. So here are my fills. I believe I still have some in pre-market. That's why it's not showing here. So I was scaling in, and this was the day I was talking about where I saw the strength breaking out of the 6th level. I entered here, and my bad, it was not 6.5. I first sold it at 7.5. and then re-added again here after it tested that support when the market was selling off. Next current position that I have right now is POWW. This was actually a blunder on my part. I was looking at, if you can see it on the daily, there was some key levels at 6.5 and around 6. I was thinking this might go down 6.5 and worst case scenario 6 if my trade thesis is correct, and might probably have a stop right around maybe here 5.5. This was before. Now what happened was I was entering at January 14, right around open. It was trying to show that it was strong. It was above the high day VWAP. So I was entering here 1/3 of my R, risking about 6.7, I believe, since I don't want it to go down below this consolidation level if it was gonna show me its strength. But then it actually reversed and see where it went. So it was right where I wanted it initially. I exited at 6.7 and then I re-entered again, thinking that my initial plan was correct. But I still have partial size on this. I'm still not in full position. I'm planning to put my full position right above this level, 7.45, and raise my stop right around 6.4 or 6.7 depending on the price action. So my feels for this, here you can see I actually sold on that same day. I have my position, I believe, pre-market, that's why it's not showing here. I got it around 6.85 and still partial. We now move on to what stocks I'm watching on Tuesday, January 19. So you can see here SWBI and POWW. I've explained that before since I have positions on those currently. So first is BTBT. You know that I traded this before. I had this at 9 and 8.5 was my lowest buy and selling it off at around 28. So I quadrupled my position on that. If you haven't seen it, I'm linking it right above. Then the trade thesis on this is a bounce trade. So I want this to hold this trend for a couple more days, and on the first day that it tries to break it, I'm gonna take partial and add when the trade thesis confirms. So bounce trades don't usually have very high upside, but it has very high win rate. So keep that in mind and don't try to hold those shares more than you should be holding them. Next, we have SPCE. This was a great swing trade in the prior days, and now it's trying to come back with the catalyst, I believe, having ARK investment buying some shares on this for the long term. But as you know, I don't chase, and this right here is a chase move, and right now the market is selling off and it's taking SPCE down with it. I'm looking at the 29 and 30 level to possibly enter from there. That might not be the range that I'm gonna enter all of my positions, but I'm planning to enter if it goes in this range, or if it tries to reverse right here, holds, consolidates, then I might modify my plan and enter there with the stop right below on this recent pivot low. Lastly, we have UAVS. UAVS is actually the only stock here which is new on the list, because most of this I've shared in my Twitter feed. If you haven't followed me, follow me there so you get updates daily. UAVS, we have here a very nice curl on the daily and holding its move. As you can see, the markets were selling off yesterday, but you can see its relative strength. It's still holding that, and you can see that the 9 level is a key level here. It tested it more than once, and then after breaking it, it's now being held as support. So I'm trying to enter this Tuesday partially, but as you can see, my first stop is right around 12. I find 12.5 as a very strong resistance, so I might sell most at 12, half or most of my positions at 12, then trail the remaining. And I have here a note so that I won't forget. As you know, some or most of these low cap stocks, small cap stocks are very trashy. I don't want to buy the stocks when they're diluting it. So as far as I can see, I only have the 2.5 million warrants exercisable at February 6. This was an offering last year and it is exercisable starting February 6. So I'm gonna avoid the date. So that's my trade horizon on this before February 6. If you find value in this video, please help me grow this channel by hitting that like button, subscribing if you haven't done so, share this to your friends, and leave comments down below. And before you go, you will get 4 free stocks by using the link down in the description below. And with that being said, respect risk and continue to hustle, trade, and invest.